It's not safe yet, but tonight there's growing optimism that the region's Children's Heart Unit will survive. The unit at the Freeman Hospital in Newcastle has saved the lives of hundreds of children. Among them, 5-month-old Kaylee, the first successful baby heart transplant back in 1987. Baby Archie was also given a new heart by surgeons, as was Ted, who's now a healthy toddler. But as we reported on Monday, its future has been placed under threat by a review of the 11 units that currently serve England and Wales. The NHS wants to reduce that number, possibly to 6. This afternoon, a panel of experts came up with its recommendations. Well, our reporter Sharon Barber joins us from the Freeman now. Sharon, how is the future looking for the Freeman Hospital tonight?
Well, Jeff, I can tell you that it's been a decade of uncertainty for staff and for the families of patients here at the Freeman Hospital in Newcastle. But today, as you say, the recommendations were announced in London, and they include, this relates mainly to the Freeman and to Leeds. The first 3 options, A, B and C, would see Newcastle's child heart surgery saying open, but Leeds would close. The 4th option would see Newcastle losing its child heart surgery unit, but Leeds would stay open. Well, earlier today I spoke to one family to get their reaction to that news. They've had direct experience here of the child heart surgery unit. Their young son, Sebastian, needed urgent open heart surgery to save his life. I spoke to his parents, and this is what they had to say about the news.
Well, obviously we're over the moon. Over the moon. I need, you want to know more about option 4, but I hope that with 3 of the options being Newcastle, it's just huge, massive impact on our lives, isn't it?
Yeah.
What does it mean to you, Nadine?
Oh, it's like keeping your family together. It's huge. Quite emotional, delighted, a bit shell shocked, and obviously sorry for the units that are going to be affected, but hopefully when they realise how amazing Newcastle is, and it might not seem such a bad option to them after all.
So real hope that the Freeman's child heart surgery unit stays open. For Seb's parents and many other parents that Look North has spoken to feels the same way, perhaps none more so than Faith's parents. They've had a difficult week. Judith and Clint, earlier this week, Faith had to undergo a 5-hour heart operation, and it was while she was in theatre that they shared with me why it was so important that the unit stayed here in Newcastle. There can be few families who have needed the Freeman Hospital's child heart unit more than this one.
I just can't close this place down, because without it, she wouldn't be here. Literally, that is the God's honest truth. Without this place, she wouldn't be here today.
As they spoke to me, their young daughter Faith was in theatre, undergoing a 5-hour life-saving heart operation.
Because Faith has that many complications, and having on the other end of the phone, I know I can pick it up and they'll see her straight away. And if we had to go somewhere else, she might not survive the journey to go somewhere else, because she goes downhill very so quickly.
To have it here in Newcastle, with Faith's valve needing replacement, it's a lot easier for us because we live so close to the hospital itself. If we had to travel to Leeds or to London with 2 other kids, it would be a nightmare.
Any threat to the Freeman's child heart unit, they believe, would be a threat to their daughter's life.
It really is, because if we didn't have it, she wouldn't be here. She got sent home after her first surgery, and she was fine, but obviously I had to bring her back a couple of days later because she had struggled breathing, and if they'd sent her somewhere else, that wouldn't have been possible. She would have been dead by the time they got her there.
Well, I can give you some good news, and that's that Faith is recovering well. She's come off the ventilator and has now moved into the ward. Well, I'm joined now by Sir Leonard Fenwick, the Chief Executive here. What's your initial reaction to the options that were announced today?
I think very much in line with our expectations, and we do believe here in Newcastle we can go from strength to strength.
So were you pleased that you had the first 3 options?
Oh, very much so. And it's clear that the consultation will require a lot of debate and dialogue with all informed parties. But I think here in Newcastle we're confident that we'll see things through and the Freeman Hospital will develop further.
But the fourth option, Sir Leonard, has Newcastle closing. How anxious are you about the future of the Freeman's Child Heart Surgery unit here?
I'm not that anxious, because I do believe that we have an international reputation. Our outcomes, our quality are exemplary, and I think that will match any unit. I think there'll be further discussion, dialogue, assessment of those standards, and I believe we'll come shining through.
If I could come now to a cardiologist, a paediatric cardiologist. John, what was the response on the ward to the news today?
Well, we remain hopeful and focused on what our job is, which is to look after the children. It looks like that there's going to be a process now where consultation will take place, and we await the outcome of that.
It's been a difficult wait for you, 10 years as we talked about. What happens now? What will you be doing? Because you've been very active in this process.
Well, we've always focused on the work that we have to do. We have built our unit year on year, and our numbers have gone up every year. Our results now are in world class. So we will focus and continue to focus on that. And our team works extremely hard and will continue to do so. And we'll await with interest what the outcome of this process is.
So, Leonard, just finally then, was it good enough news to open the champagne and celebrate?
No, not yet. When we get there in the autumn. But, you know, we need to remind everyone, participate in the consultation and also be aware that with ourselves in London, we provide the complete repertoire of services, including transplantation. Other centres do not.
And that's all at risk if option 4 obviously happened. Well, as Sir Leonard said, a consultation period of 3 months. But for now, though, it's back to you, Jeff.
Sharon, thanks for that.